Welcome everybody to this lecture in Intermediate Macroeconomics. We are in chapter 20, which deals with exchange rate regimes. Due to the fact that it's the first time that in this course we talk about exchange rates, it makes sense to define exchange rates in the beginning. So let's talk a little bit about the two different possibilities how to quote an exchange rate. So we talk about an exchange rate notation, price versus quantity notation. In Poland, we are used to quote the exchange rate as a price of foreign currency. So from a Polish perspective, we ask the question, how much is a euro? And the answer is right now at about 4.50 Polish zloty for 1 euro. In the Blanchard et al. Textbook, it is the case that the exchange rate is quoted in the quantity notation. It gives an answer to the question, how many euros do I get for 1 zloty? So we have to divide 1 by 4.5 and we get the answer 0.22 euros for 1 zloty. So for 1 Polish zloty, you get 0.22 euros. I would like to depart from the Blanchard et al. Textbook, and in this lecture in Intermediate Macroeconomics, we will use the price notation. So the price of 1 unit of foreign currency in terms of domestic currency. We can use, for example, the Krugman-Obstfeld-Melix textbook in order to have a look at the one or the other concept. When we switch to the price notation and we depart from the Blanchard et al. Textbook, central equations in the lecture Intermediate Macroeconomics is in line with the course International Monetary Economics. And this is especially good for students which take both lectures. So let's proceed. We said we want to quote the foreign exchange rate as a price of 1 unit of the foreign currency in terms of domestic currency. So for example, from a Russian perspective, the exchange rate is, for example, 75 Russian rubles for 1 US dollar or 80 rubles for 1 euro. From a Turkish perspective, the exchange rate is 7.5 new Turkish lira for 1 euro, or from a Swiss perspective, it is 150 Swiss franc for 1 euro. Let's talk about the terms appreciation and depreciation. In case that the exchange rate increases, for example, the exchange rate in January 2015 was at the level of 1 Swiss franc per euro, and in October 2015 the exchange rate was at the level of 1.10 Swiss franc per euro. So in case that the exchange rate increases, this is a depreciation of the Swiss franc, a depreciation of the home currency, and an appreciation of the euro. In case that the exchange rate decreases, for example, in January 2010, the exchange rate was at 150 Swiss franc per euro, and in December 2010, the exchange rate was at 130 Swiss franc per euro. Then we talk about an appreciation of the Swiss franc. The home currency appreciates, and it is also a depreciation of the euro, a depreciation of the foreign currency. It becomes clear that it is very important that you have to mention a currency like Swiss franc or euro, which is depreciating or appreciating. Simply characterizing an exchange rate change as a depreciation or appreciation without mentioning the currency does not help. It is a currency which appreciates or depreciates. It's not the exchange rate. So an exchange rate can increase or decrease, but an exchange rate cannot appreciate or depreciate. It is the currency which depreciates or appreciates. And it's always very important that you mention the currency which is appreciating or depreciating. After this short introduction, we can start with the first subchapter. So we talk about exchange rate regimes in the medium run. And the main takeaways of this first subchapter are as follows. In the textbook, we learn that in the medium run, the exchange rate regime does not matter. The real exchange rate will be the same in a fixed or in a floating exchange rate regime. However, the adjustment process towards this equilibrium may be long and tough in a fixed exchange rate system or fast and soft in a floating exchange rate system. Let's try to motivate this chapter by also looking at one numerical example. Let's assume that one good in Switzerland costs 12 Swiss francs. The price in Germany is equal to 8 euros and the exchange rate is at 150 Swiss francs per euro. So in this numerical example, we are looking at the Swiss economy as the home economy and the foreign country, this is Germany. So we are looking at this numerical example from a Swiss perspective. The questions are as follows. What is the price of the German good measured in Swiss francs? And does the law of one price hold? In other words, is the relationship exchange rate times the foreign price level equal to the domestic price level? Is this relationship fulfilled? Yes or no? Let's perform the necessary computations. So once more, the domestic price is equal to 12 Swiss francs. The price in Germany is equal to 8 euros and the exchange rate is at 150 Swiss francs per euro. What is the price of the German good measured in Swiss francs? The price is equal to the exchange rate times the foreign price level, so 150 Swiss francs per euro, times the price in Germany, 8 euros. So the price of the German good measured in Swiss francs is equal to 12 Swiss francs. The price of the German good measured in Swiss francs is equal to the price of the Swiss good. And since this relationship, exchange rate times the foreign price level, is equal to the domestic price level, the law of one price is fulfilled. The two goods have the same prices in the domestic and the foreign economy. What are the implications for the so-called real exchange rate? The law of one price was given by this relationship here. The definition of the real exchange rate is nominal exchange rate times the foreign price level divided by the domestic price level. In case that the law of one price holds, of course, the real exchange rate takes the value of 1, because then the left-hand side of the law of one price equation is equal to the right-hand side. So let's also prove this by looking at the numerical example. So 150 Swiss francs per euro is the nominal exchange rate, 8 euros per German good is a price P star, and the price of the Swiss good is 12 Swiss francs for a Swiss good. When you multiply through, it will be the case that here the euro sign will cancel out. Also, the Swiss franc sign will cancel out. And we end up with the information that the real exchange rate is indeed equal to 1. And the dimension is 1 Swiss good for 1 German good. After we have clarified the law of one price as well as the definition of the real exchange rate, it's time to come up with a shock. Let's assume that the Swiss central bank makes a mistake. The first assumption is Switzerland has a fixed exchange rate system in place, and the second assumption is by accident, the Swiss central bank fixes the exchange rate at the level of 125 Swiss franc per euro. The questions which arise now are, in case that the exchange rate is fixed at 125, has the Swiss franc appreciated or depreciated compared to the situation where the exchange rate was at 150? Second question is, what are the consequences for international trade? So do Swiss exports increase or decrease? And do Swiss imports increase or decrease? The answers are, in case that the exchange rate decreases, it's an appreciation of the home currency. So it's an appreciation of the Swiss franc because you get more bang for the buck. So like the euro becomes cheaper for Swiss households, and therefore it is an appreciation of the home currency. It's an appreciation of the Swiss franc. What are the implications of this appreciation for international trade? The price of the Swiss good measured in euros increases. Previously, when the exchange rate was at the level of 150, the price of the Swiss good measured in euros was equal to 8 euros. But now it is the case that the exchange rate decreased to 125, and hence the price of the Swiss good measured in euros increases to the level of 9.6. So in case that the Swiss franc appreciates, in case that the exchange rate decreases, Swiss exports are more expensive, and therefore the export volume decreases. Let's check the price of the German good. The price of the German good measured in Swiss franc is now equal to P star, the price of the German good, times the exchange rate of 125 Swiss franc per euro. The price of the German good measured in Swiss franc is now 10 Swiss franc. So the German good becomes cheaper compared to the price of the Swiss good, which is still at the level of 12 Swiss franc. So Switzerland will import more from Germany. The imports from Germany will increase. The overall conclusion is exports are down, imports are up. What are the conclusions for international trade? Let's summarize. Since the exchange rate is valid for all goods and not only for the good which we were examining in the past few slides, the demand for all Swiss goods will decrease. So Switzerland gets into a recession. Let's once more have a look at the implications for the real exchange rate. The formula for the real exchange rate is once more given here. Now the nominal exchange rate decreased to the level of 125 Swiss franc per euro times the price of the German good divided by the price of the Swiss good. So now, after the nominal exchange rate decreased, the real exchange rate becomes 0.83 Swiss goods for one German good. So Swiss goods are relatively expensive now. So we confirm the previous results. We confirm the result that Swiss goods become more expensive, so that Swiss exports will be down and the imports from Germany will increase. So right now it is the case that the law of one price does not hold anymore, and hence there is an arbitrage opportunity. How can we profit from the situation that the two prices are different? Of course, we have to apply the magic formula buy low, sell high. So some traders, like arbitrageurs, they will buy the goods in Germany and will sell them in Switzerland. The supply of goods in Switzerland will increase. Supply is larger than demand, and therefore the Swiss goods price will decrease. So P decreases and the adjustment process will stop until the Swiss price has decreased to the level of 10 Swiss francs. So the Swiss price has to decrease from 12 Swiss francs to 10 Swiss francs. Hence, the economy needs a phase of deflation so that the price level decreases by 17%. The economy needs a phase of deflation. How is that related to our lecture so far? Deflation, that's related to the Phillips curve. So the economy needs a recession. The economy has to go through a phase of deflation. So for a longer time period, it will be the case that the realized unemployment rate is larger than the natural rate of unemployment. The Swiss economy will suffer in form of a higher unemployment rate. After the adjustment process has taken place, it is the case that once more the real exchange rate has adjusted and takes the value of 1. We started the lecture by looking at the main takeaways of chapter 21. We said that in the medium run, the exchange rate regime does not matter. The real exchange rate will be the same in a fixed or floating exchange rate regime. However, the adjustment process towards this equilibrium may be long and tough in a fixed exchange rate system or fast and soft in a floating exchange rate system. Why is it the case that it's long and tough in a fixed exchange rate system? And why is it fast and soft in a floating exchange rate system? So after this initial shock occurred, it would be much easier for the central bank to correct its mistake by adjusting the nominal exchange rate to the level of 150. By making one decision, by making one adjustment, the price of all Swiss goods in relation to the price of the foreign goods would change automatically. So we don't have to wait until each and every company has adjusted the prices downwards and each and every labor contract has a reduced nominal wage. By making one adjustment, it is the case that the central bank can influence the relative price of all Swiss goods, and therefore we don't have to wait until these kind of adjustments are made by the companies. Thank you very much for this part of the lecture. I'll give you some time to digest and then we'll meet again in a second video. Thank you very much.